I'm going to show you exactly why building multiple streams of income is the worst advice that has ever been told to business owners and what to do instead if you want to get rich. So, you've probably heard this one before, that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. And that if you only have one with your business, then you're kind of behind. You're a big risk taker. You better start working on some other things. The list looks something like this. You have your main business. You have a second business that you also run. Maybe you do some sort of consulting or some sort of like side hustle where you sell your time. You get into commercial real estate. You buy some single family rentals as residential. Maybe you get into stock trading, options, day trading. You do some private lending. You get into oil and gas. Maybe you get into some partnerships. Oh, can't forget about crypto. Everyone needs crypto these days. Sounds smart, doesn't it? Sounds reasonable. Sounds like something who's a millionaire would do who's good with money because it's responsible, right? But here's the problem, is that nobody gets rich through diversification. They stay rich through diversification. But you make your money through concentration. You get rich by focusing all in, making a ton of money, and then deploying it. This is what it actually looks like. So let's pretend in a given day that you have 10 units of energy, right? You can't manufacture more, like coffee's not gonna help, Zinpacks, Adderall, whatever. You've got 10 units, that's the max. And you get to decide how you're gonna deploy it. And for somebody who is going to diversify on a bunch of different things, they may say, hey, well, here's my main business, here's that little second business, my side hustle, my commercial real estate, my thing, my da-da-da-da. So it all spreads out. And then maybe your main business can only get, 4 units or so of energy deployed into it. And so you don't have that much time to put into it because you got all these other things going on. You can't focus and do deep work, right? Deep work, like the efforts that actually move the needle, and you actually get to see the progress and understand things at a deeper level. Because if not, you're only surface level because you literally can't go that deep. Think about that versus let's think about this person or this choice or this week where you go all into thing. You put all 10 units of energy into that single item. What's going to happen? You are going to see things that you never saw before. You are going to realize and expose problems and see solutions. You are going to find new relationships and partners and ways to do things that you never would have done before because you didn't have the time or the energy to deploy into it. And so, guess what happens when things get tough? When the business hits a little road bump? Who do you think is going to see it coming first? Who do you think is going to have an ability to fix it fast because they have all these cards up their sleeves and they know what it is? Is it going to be this guy who's all in, or is it going to be this one who, is also thinking about that stock option that went bad, or that loan that just defaulted that they got to hustle, or that new deal they got to look at, right? I can tell you that when you look at the history of who really gets rich and who really makes a lot of money, it is not the people who diversify against a bunch of things. People say Warren Buffett, right? They use him as an example. You go to his history, though, his main thing for many years was Berkshire Hathaway, which started out as like a manufacturing plant that like manufactured like textiles or whatever. And that was the focus for many, many years, was getting that business like up to a point, and it just threw off so much cash that then they invested that cash. But the main thing was like that. And then it was, Geico, I think, was the next thing. And you look at him today, and it's like all these different things, but you go back to the history of how he actually got rich, it's pretty simple. Jeff Bezos, perfect example. All he wanted to do was bookstores. All he wanted to sell was freaking books for a long time. Then it was we sell other things. Now, yeah, they get into all these other things. This is a rocket company, right? So here's how it looked for me personally. So in 2016, I bought my first 2 auto repair franchises with my brother, and that year we finished at $1.2 million in revenue. And by 2018, we had bought another one in 17. We opened 2 more in 18. So by 2018, we were doing $3.8 million in revenue for the year. Like that's what we finished on our tax return. By 2020, we had added another store. We kind of got the ones we had really going. So we got up to $5.6 million in revenue. All right. So from 2016 to 2020, so over 4 years, I took the business from 1.2 million to 5.6 million. During this time, I had other side hustles that took my time, that took my energy, that took away from the business. And in 2020, the end of 20, I cut them all out. It It happened to be right before COVID. Another thing was right after COVID, whatever. But during that time, I was like, we're gonna get rid of all this shit because it was a distraction. I knew it was stealing energy, my time, my focus. And I wanted to go all in on Midas because I knew that we had what it takes. I knew that if I built the team, I could get it there. And so here's what happened. By 2022, we took that business to $31 million in revenue. And we kept doubling down. We kept finding more acquisitions to buy, more stores that we could open. Because during this time, we learned a lot of things. We built a lot of like muscle and things that we didn't have before because we were going so into it. And so by 2024, we got the business to $47 million. Things like the Leaning Tower of Pizza over here. All right. And then by 2026, this year, we are going to finish somewhere close to $55 million, all in this single business, which is now, today is 36 shops as of this recording. I'm working on a few more. So depending on when you watch it, I might have more. So it's all in the same brand. It's all in the same industry. It's all in the same thing that I have continued to push. And all of this, everything that I own today started for me of a single investment of $67,000. So my brother and I were partners. We each put in $67,000. We're 50-50 partners. We got a bank loan, and that's what helped us acquire the first 2 stores in 2016. After that, I have never put a single dollar into this business. I've invested into other businesses, but into this business, that is all I put into it. So every acquisition, every down payment, every piece of equipment, every new hire, every additional marketing dollar, all came from this initial seed that we planted, that bloomed this beautiful tree, which then bloomed all these other trees, right? 36 of these things, all with a deep root system, right? A deep, strong root system. And it's that intentionality that has allowed me to grow and buy out my competitors who aren't making money because they can't find good people. Their margins are tight. Their pricing's wrong. They don't have a sales system, a marketing system. They have all these things where they have problems. I will literally buy that business and put in my systems because I have systematized everything. And literally the next day, the next week, depending on what it is, we are going to turn that around. For example, I bought one of the worst shops in the entire market. I think it was like literally zero, doing $10,000 a week, losing money. And we just did $30,000 this past week. And we did 25 the week before. Like we're gonna get that store to be probably making $200,000 a year profit, cash flow. And we bought it for like basically nothing. Because I have the systems, because I have the process, because we are putting all this energy and time and focus into growing and creating this powerful machine. And this is what's real. This is how people get really, really rich, is by that type of energy. It's not by fracturing all these other things. But the challenge is that you hit a rough spot, okay? Like EVs are coming. They're going to destroy your business. There's COVID. Nobody wants to buy. There's all these different things, right? We have these fears that attack us. And it's kind of like human nature to have this like fight or flight response. And for some people, including me at times, have felt the flight to say, well, things are going to get tough here. Things are going to go down. I'm being responsible and I'm going to go and diversify my income. I'm going to launch another business because I don't want all of my eggs in the same basket. And that basket's going to tip over. It's going to break and blah, 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 chicken analogies, etc. And they go away. There's other people that say, well, I'm just bored. I have all this extra time on my hands. I just want something new. I want to just, entrepreneur. We love new things, right? Like it's pretty common. Some people like claim it's for the challenge. I've said that multiple times of the reason I've gotten to other things is I want the challenge of it. And listen, all those are good reasons to start a hobby. I'm learning how to golf. I'm teaching my daughter how to golf. We just spent 3 hours on the golf course this morning. And the challenge of learning and playing is a great outlet. The novelty of learning a new skill is a great outlet. But to diversify your business and split your time and attention and energy and focus and risk is actually the worst thing that you can do if you're serious about growing the business. And so instead, when I at least see those fears or have those fears, I want to figure out like why am I having those, right? So we like, why is it here? What am I going to do about it? When is it going to happen? Even we think like EVs are going to crush the auto repair business. They're going to kill us all, blah, blah, blah. Cars don't need repairs. A, it's probably not true because they still need repairs. B, the runway for that could be 15 or 20 years from now. And in the meantime, this thing can print money. So yeah, in 15 or 20 years, maybe it's a problem, maybe it's not. But I've got a long runway. And maybe we're going to adapt. Maybe there's going to be new cars. Maybe their business is going to pivot in a way that it doesn't even matter, right? So when we have these negative thoughts upon us, all right, they say that like 75% of most people's thoughts in a day are negative. They're like fear and negative, and it's like our brains like wanting to protect us. Then we let those negative thoughts control us and push us in these directions that make us want to go and do all these other things. And so if you can step back and just for a second, be like, no. I'm not going to buy into any of this fear. I'm just going to get really, really good. And I'm going to know that, hey, if our business pivots and changes, that I'm going to attack it and win. And I'm going to buy out all my competitors at a really good price. And I'm going to make money and I'm going to win. Because I am putting all of my units of energy into this one thing. I'm putting into this one basket. I'm going to freaking protect that basket like hell. And I'm going to have results that are going to look like this. I want to get this graph to $100 million a year. $100 million a year in revenue is like our business our goal in the auto repair business. And so the question then is, well, when do you actually diversify that? Like, when does it make sense? And there's a couple rules of thumb that I follow, which is number one, you have to have a ton of cash on hand. Number two, your business can't absorb the money any faster. So for me, like even in the auto repair business, like we are getting to that point now that, I personally don't want to grow into other plane ride markets right now. Like just not a goal for us to buy. So what we're focused on is how many stores can we buy in our general region? We also, as we buy more stores, we have to build out our leadership team, which takes time to get the right people and trained and accountability and systems. And so we're working on all that, but the business is still throwing off a ton of cash, right? And so at that point, because the business can't absorb it any faster, that's where we say, all right, well, can we buy real estate that we occupy is the first thing I'm going to buy? Or can we buy similar real estate that's really passive for me that I don't have to manage it at all? Maybe I do get into oil and gas, or maybe I do some lending, some things that I can do that don't take up any of my time, or potentially even my team here, our back office team can run it. So we do private loans. We've done them. I'm not like a big into it, but like I've done them. And I have my CFO is the one that actually like deals with the title company and sends them money and tracks it and does all the things. But that's not my time and attention. He's the one that's like doing a lot of it. So I like to think of it is you want to have one thing that you're putting your energy into, right? So for me, my main energy right now is my education. It's this stuff, right? It's education, it's media. It's everything that I'm doing online is the thing that I'm really focused on. Our CEO of our auto repair business, all of his energy is on Midas. So he's got 100% on that. I have a partner in a business called Waterloo Turf. His name's Rick. 100% of Rick's energy is focused on Waterloo Turf. So I view as my investments and my other income streams are in ones where there are other people who have all of their energy on it, or they're ones that don't require any energy. So that is the triple net commercial real estate. That is the passive stock dividend stuff. That is like things that don't require any time. There are ways you can do it. There are ways you'll do it eventually. But I'm saying that for someone who's already made it, who is generating way more money than we can deploy in our current business. And so if you are still building, you're at 1 or 2 locations, ready, 3 or 4, 5 or 6, anything in that range, the best thing you can do is keep doubling down, keep pouring your time, energy, and effort into the business. And then that is how you're going to be able to grow it. This was a lot through acquisitions. This was a lot through new stores. This is a lot now through strategy of growing our revenue and developing our leadership pipeline and our training pipeline. If you like this video, you want to see my full roadmap on building an 8-figure business, I'm going to link the video below. Check it out. Cheers.